Well, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Papa's Workshop. These are for Adam, Brady, Luke, and Brenna. Before we get started, we got to check on my assistant who is working hard underneath the workbench. There she is. Are you working hard under there? Huh? Poor Molly. Yeah. She's been enjoying all the snow. She's been playing in the snow, so she's kind of tired. It's not a treat. You ready to get to work? All right. There's Molly doing her doggy snow angels. We got to stop every few minutes so she can do that. Loves the snow. Hey, this session we're going to start on the two outside shelves, which are the convex shelves. The first one was concave, right? Went in, this is coming out. And like before, I made a prototype. So that's what it's going to look like. And this one came out pretty well, but I think that the tops of these aren't rounded enough. You can see that almost starts straight up and goes around, and I think it needs to be a little rounded. And that's going off of this picture. See, these seem to be more pumped over. So that's the only change I'm going to make, and that's on the first stages of it. So otherwise, I think it's actually easier than the concave ones. So like the other one, the first stage is going to be to make this area in here, which matches the lower drawers. So when we started the other shell, like the concave shell, I don't know if you can see that, but we traced this line off of the drawer underneath, drawer number 2. So we need to bring everything down to that line within our pattern. And I went ahead and made a template, a full-size template that I can stick on there, and I can just take the router and do it real quick. So we got 2 of these to do, and I'm probably going to do these again. So, and at an earlier video we showed we put two pins so that we can get this back in the same spot. So those lines are, these are going to be glued onto that drawer, so we need to get the spot. So we're going to lay out everything. I'm going to lay out everything on both of them. I'm kind of going to do the steps on both of them together, each step, so that I can be sure that I'm consistent, that they look pretty identical when they're finished. So first we're going to lay out everything. The only thing different about laying out this one is that we're going to use I made another cardboard template for the edges, but we're not going to put that on the front. We're going to do that on the back side. So we have to find our center line and put that on this is the back side with the holes. So we got to trace that pattern. We have to, on the edges, these scalloped edges, we have to work from the back. All right, because we're going to round everything over on this. We're going to round that over after we get this part done. That's what we're going to do next, is just round this all over. We get a consistent curve all the way there, so we would lose any of our marks we had on the front. And then you got to worry about, if you try to go this way, you're going to worry about it blowing out. So you have to kind of work from this back side on these edges. So that's what that's kind of the only main difference. The other difference is holding this. This is kind of hard to hold. Once we get it cut to that, it's pretty hard to get a hold of. So I've got 2 blocks that I'm going to use, and they actually dowel pins match, and then a couple of screws, and we're going to screw it on there like that, and then we can put it in the vise, and we can flop it around, and we can go off to the end when we need to. So I got two of them, so I can do both of them at once. So first we're going to lay out, then we'll do the router. Got everything laid out. I don't know how well you can see that, but we got our profile at the bottom to help us line up the template. Of course, that's the outside, and then this is going to be our high point when we do the round over. So then on the back, I've got the actual outline, which I darkened with a pen. The pencil marks tend to rub off a little bit, so. And then I put these circles. That's where I'm going to drill some holes. And you notice the circles are not on the lines, they're just close to it. Basically, it's just to remove a lot of the waste. So after we route that front edge profile, we're going to take on the bandsaw and cut this outer circle, and so that'll leave us those half circles of where the waste is around. So we're ready to route. So I'm just going to, here on the bench, I got a double-sided tape and stick that down and clamp it, and we'll just make a couple passes with the router. All right, we got those done. As you can see that profile there. So before we cut this on the bandsaw, while it's still square more or less, this area right in here, everything in this, I'm going to lower that by about 1/8 of an inch. That's one change from the other one. I think that the whole medallion, the center of the shell needs to be just a titch lower than what I had on that prototype. So this is where the medallion is going to be, so I'm going to go out a little bit and just lower that down a little bit while I've got the router here, and it's easy to do. So that'll save me having to do that by hand later. So I'll do that real quick. All right, we got that little area done. So next thing I'm going to do is cut these out on the bandsaw, and then we'll be down to just our little circle, half circle. All right. Actually, before I cut them on the bandsaw, I drilled the holes. Right from the back side, drilled the holes, and then I got this one cut out. And you can see on the back, I left the line there. I first made just a pass with the bandsaw around the outside, and then I just kind of knocked off the corners again just to save me from having to knock off that waste. So I just need to do that on the other one. And then we have to start rounding this over from this top part down to the edge, and I made myself a template, if I could find it. What did I do with it? Ah, yes, sure. So this curve here has to go right there from the bottom edge to those lines up there. So I got to round that all the way around. So that's next. All right, I took on the disc sander, put the table at 45, and just spun this around and knocking off a lot of that material. I figured it out and measured up and made a mark along this edge and just did it like that. And I went ahead and screwed these on so that I can put it in the vise. So now I have to make that curve, that outside curve, with the rasp. It's like a high-powered file. So it removes material quickly. And I'm going to use this gauge to verify that I'm there. And since I need to go clear down, so I'm going to have to hang it off this edge like this, and then go to the other side, you know. So that's how we're going to have to do this. I'm going to set them up both this way. and we'll just start rasping away. All right, I'm getting close. Kind of see that profile there. And as I get closer, what I need to do is take the template and with the light behind it, is set that on there and then mark the high spots. That lobe looks pretty good. That's good. Just a little bit there. And so you can see I got just a few spots, and then I'm going to take, when I got them all done, I'm going to take this scraper, which is at the same radius, and smooth that out, get any little sharp edges out of it. So, all right, we got these all pretty well rounded. You can see on both of them, and it matches matches pretty good there all the way around. That's what we're after. So now the next step is I took the cardboard template for the Center Medallion and laid that out on there. And so we need to outline that with chisels, and the area outside of the medallion needs to come down 1/8 of an inch. And then we need to blend it from this top kind of down and level. And I on this same circle template I made. So we need to go kind of like that. So we need to bring that down so that fits all the way around. So we got those. Oh, and if you remember, we've got this little curve here from the drawer number 2. So I still have to bring those 2 points down too as well. So we do all that with carving tools, and away we go. All right. We got these pretty well done. See, we got them all smoothed out right here, and so we got the outside is this profile, and then the inside kind of matches this profile, and got them all smoothed out. So the next thing we need to do is lay out. So I took my cardboard templates. We've got these cardboard templates for each 5th out, and then the increments on there. So I just put these on there and made these marks. So we got these. This is the 1/5 in, 2/5, 3/5, and we got the increments marked. So now it's just a matter of connecting the dots. And I've done that on this one. So we just went from I made a little bandsaw cut so I knew where that was, and then we just draw the line and connect the dots. And so that's the what do I want to say, the dividing line between the lobes, the highs and the lows. So we're going to do kind of what we did on the convex or concave shell, and that is use the V tool and define these lines. But what's a little bit different is we have to start by working on the back side of this and get the lines that we've made right in there. We got to trim to that point. So I'm going to take these blocks off so I can just set them in the vise standing up, and I'm going to work from the back side and get that edge defined, pushing the chisels this way so that we don't get any blowout on this. And then I'll take the V tool from this back side and start that groove, and then we'll put the blocks back on, and then we'll do like we did before. And that is we're going to do the same thing. We've got our surface. We're going to start with just the V tool to define the edges, and we're going to then we're going to take a little bit off of this here. We're going to leave this alone, maybe cut out a little bit there, but then we'll just keep deepening the V tools, and then just kind of rounding the tops, and then lowering this bottom. So what we're going to end up with is this, but then we're going to have our flat, and then the other hump, and we may have, I may dig that out just in the middle just to make it easier to make. What I want is make sure that these two lines are about equal compared to the highs. Then when that's all done all the way around, then we'll come back and use this gouge and cut that like that, leaving just a little bit of that ledge there in each one. So right now I got to take the blocks off and start from the back. All right, I got the backs all done. So that's all kind of trimmed to the line, and got the start of our V coming up. So I'm going to put our blocks back on so I can clamp them there, and we'll start doing the V. I also added the red lines. That's the center line of the high spot, so I work towards that line, and so that should remain. All the rest of them should go away. So we're getting there. All right, you can see I've got the V tool to define the lines. I rounded these edges here, and I've started doing the flattening in between. This one's a little farther along. Got them all. So I'm just going to keep doing that till I get down about half of this thickness down, and then get these all rounded, and we'll be there. All right, I got these pretty well done. There's old Molly. She's right helping me there, right in front of where I have to stand. Anyway, I got all of the convex ones done, and I just got to go back over it and get, like here, there's kind of a little bump. I need to get that out of there. I've started going over it the second time, and I've got this is smooth, and this one needs a little bit more work. Anyway, I got to go around and get them as perfect as I can. Here's the other one. Again, so I'm going over it with my handmade scraper, and then files. Some of the areas it's pretty hard to get it in with the chisel because of the way the grain is going. The cross grain, I can come straight in with the appropriate size gouge and cut it. But when you're dealing with the ones over the way on the outside, I have to go this way on this side and this way on the other side, so it gets hard to get a gouge in there. So you have to kind of use a flat, and so anyway, that's what. So I think I've been working on this most of this week, seems like. But I got to get those as perfect as I can before I do the lows, the concave sections. There we have it. All right, we've started working on getting these lowers. I got these 4 done on here. That's how well you can see that. It's you have to get really close. You're looking at this picture. The the ribs in between are very small. And the thing is, the closer you get, the more noticeable any variance is. So you have to be close to perfect when you start getting that close. I'm trying to shoot for just over 1/32 of an inch. It's only that thick. So these look pretty good, but it's fairly easy to get the middles out, but then trying to get that consistent width of that line is pretty time consuming. And I've tried different ways. I tried using a marking gauge, a knife. So I put a little washer on the end of it, and I got the knife just sticking out, and I can scribe a line that's the away from the hump. That works, but it's a little harder to see sometimes, and it's hard to get rid of every remnant of that scratch mark. So pencil works better. So I made this little pointer, and it has a hole in it that this pencil fits through, and you can see the tip just fits through. And I can rub that against the convex part of the shell, and then just draw a line. So it just barely works. Let me do one here. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's the line. And so then I'll try to carve and then just split that line in half as best I can all the way down. So we got to finish both shells to that point, and then we have just the center medallion to do, and that's pretty much the same as the concave one that we did earlier, with the exception of, let's see that picture here. Yeah, here's the this is the convex one, and you notice this part of it is going up, this lower part. And on the two side shells, the convex shells, it goes down. And as near as I can tell from the shadows, let's see, here's a color one. This seems to go down more like this, and the concave one goes more like this, as far as this part here in the center. The actual layout is the same. It's got the same number of lobes and so forth. But anyway, we'll do that medallion just like we did the other one. We'll draw the border, lower everything inside about 1/8 of an inch, round the border, and then shape the inside, and then just do those lobes, those leaves, and then we're there. So next session we will glue these on to the front of the drawer, and then we'll glue up that drawer, the top drawer. The other drawers are done, so we are getting close to the end. We still got the things we still have to do are the top, the drawer bottoms I haven't done, and the molding that goes around the top. And I haven't even begun to look at that, because that's not just going to be a simple router bit. It may be 2 router bits, but I'm going to try to get as close as I can to the same look that they had on the original. So it may involve using some of my hollows and rounds to make the molding. We'll see. But that's it for this one. Like I said, we're going to finish up the low parts, the medallions on both of these, and we'll be ready for next time.